What is the most prevalent form of circulating estrogen in a postmenopausal female? A. Estradiol. B. Estrone. C. Estrel. D. Estradiol. The answer is B. Estrone. After menopause, the most predominant form of circulating estrogen is estrone, E1. Estrone, E1, estradiol, E2, and estriol, E3, are three endogenously produced estrogens. Estradiol, E2, is produced by the dominant ovarian follicle during the monthly menstrual cycle and is the most potent natural estrogen. Estrone, E1, is the dominant form of estrogen during menopause. It is produced in small quantities by the ovary and the adrenal glands, and is principally derived by the peripheral conversion of androstenedione in adipose tissue. Estradiol is more prevalent in premenopausal women who are not pregnant, while estriol and estrol are both only elevated during pregnancy. What form of estrogen is only present in pregnant females? A. Estrone, E1. B. Estrol, E4. C. Estriol, E3. D. Estradiol, E2. The answer is B. Estrol, E4. The only form of estrogen that is exclusively present in pregnant women is estrol, E4. Estriol is produced in quantities that are notable only during pregnancy. Estrol is produced at very high levels in the fetal liver, and it has been suggested that this estrogen may have a protective effect in the fetus by insulating it from the maternal estrogens. What enzyme is responsible for the conversion of androgens into estrogen? A. Amylase. B. Aromatase. C. Protease. D. 5-alpha reductase. The answer is B. Aromatase. The conversion of androgens into estrogen is performed by aromatase, also known as estrogen synthetase or estrogen synthase. 5-alpha reductase is responsible for the conversion of testosterone to dihydrotestosterone. Amylase is a salivary enzyme that breaks down starches during mastication, and protease is a digestive enzyme that aids in the breakdown of proteins. Which cells in the male reproductive tract produce testosterone? A. Spermatogenic cells. B. Leydig cells. C. Wolffian cells. D. Sertoli cells. The answer is B. Leydig cells. Leydig cells, located in the testes adjacent to the seminiferous tubules, secrete testosterone in response to luteinizing hormone, LH. Sertoli cells are also adjacent to the seminiferous tubules. They play a role in stimulating spermatogenesis in spermatogenic cells. Wolffian cells are part of the fetal male reproductive tract and do not produce testosterone. Which of the following structures are formed from the embryological Wolffian ducts? A. The seminal vesicles. B. The epididymis. C. The vas deferens. D. All of these are correct. The answer is D. All of these are correct. The Wolffian ducts are fetal urogenital structures that develop into the seminal vesicles, the vas deferens, and the epididymis. They also form parts of the bladder wall. Which of the following is not an androgen? A. Dihydroepiandrosterone, DHEA. B. 2-hydroxyestrone. C. Androstenedione. D. Dihydrotestosterone. The answer is B. 2-hydroxyestrone. All of the hormones listed, and testosterone, are androgens except 2-hydroxyestrone, which is a metabolite of estrone, a form of estrogen. Androstenedione is produced by all of the following tissues except dash. A. The ovaries. B. The adrenal cortex. C. The testes. D. The adrenal medulla. The answer is D. The adrenal medulla. Androstenedione is produced by the ovaries, the testes, and the adrenal cortex. The adrenal medulla primarily secretes epinephrine and norepinephrine. Which of the following is a normal dihydroepiandrosterone (DHEA) level in an adult female under the age of 50? A. 31 microg DL. B. 6 microg DL. C. 240 microg DL. D. 398 microg DL. The answer is C. 240 microg DL. Normal DHEA levels in an adult female under the age of 50 range from 32 to 395 microg DL. DHEA levels are higher in younger women and decline as women approach menopause. Which of the following is a normal dehydroepiandrosterone (DHEA) level in an adult male under the age of 50? A. 59 mcg, DL. B. 450 mcg, DL. C. 386 mcg, DL. D. 94 mcg, DL. The answer is C. 386 microg, DL. The normal DHEA levels in an adult male under the age of 50 can range from 95 to 441 microg, DL. They are highest in early adulthood and decline with age. Which of the following is not a function of progesterone during pregnancy? A. Increases the contractility of the uterus. B. Decreases maternal immune response to the fetus. C. Breast maturation and preparation for lactation. D. Inhibits lactation during pregnancy. The answer is C. Breast maturation and preparation for lactation. Progesterone serves many functions in pregnancy. It prepares the endometrial lining for implantation of the embryo, it increases the contractility of the uterus, it inhibits lactation during pregnancy, and it is thought to reduce maternal immune response to the developing fetus. Breast enlargement and maturation in preparation for lactation is facilitated by estrogen, rather than progesterone. Which of the following proteins initiates male sexual development in utero? A. Masculinization factor. B. Testis determining factor. C. Testosterone sensitizing protein. D. Male determining protein. The answer is B. Testis determining factor. Testis determining factor, also known as sex-determining region Y, SRY, protein, is a sex-determining gene found exclusively on the Y chromosome in humans. Its transcription triggers the development of male sexual characteristics in the developing fetus. The Sertoli cells of the testes secrete all of the following except A. Estradiol. B. Androgen-binding protein. C. Anti-Mullerian hormone. D. All of these are secreted by the Sertoli cells. The answer is D. All of these are secreted by the Sertoli cells. The Sertoli cells of the testes are responsible for the secretion of many substances, including anti-Mullerian hormone, androgen-binding protein, glial cell line-derived neurotrophic factor, and estradiol. Which of the following is the term used to describe the post-ejaculatory transformation of sperm via enzymes in the uterus and seminal fluid? A. Spermatozoal maturation. B. Capacitation. C. Decapitation. D. Penultimation. The answer is B. Capacitation. The process by which post-ejaculatory sperm is rendered fully mature and capable of fertilization of an ovum is called capacitation. This is where enzymes within the uterus are able to partially degrade the acrosome, the cap surrounding the head of the spermatozoa, allowing it to bind with and eventually penetrate the zona pellucida of the egg. Which of the following minerals stabilizes sperm cell chromatin? A. Zinc. B. Manganese. C. Magnesium. D. Copper. The answer is A. Zinc. The stability of sperm cell chromatin is dependent on zinc. Zinc deficiency can cause sperm to be fragile, which in turn lowers sperm count and decreases male fertility. The average ejaculate contains how many sperm? A. 500 to 800 million. B. 700 to 900 million. C. 100 to 400 million. D. 40 to 600 million. The answer is D. 40 to 600 million. What is the main source of energy for sperm cells in ejaculate? A. Starch. B. Fructose. C. Sucrose. D. Galactose. The answer is B. Fructose. The primary energy source of spermatozoa is fructose, produced by the seminal vesicle along with multiple amino acids, vitamin C, enzymes, and flavin. Where are mature spermatozoa stored before ejaculation? A. In the vas deferens. B. In the seminal vesicles. C. In the epididymis. D. In the seminiferous tubules. The answer is C. In the epididymis. Fully formed spermatozoa from the seminal vesicles are transported to the epididymis, where they are stored for 2 to 3 months. During ejaculation, stored sperm are moved from the lower epididymis via peristaltic action of the muscle layers of the vas deferens, mixed with various fluids to form semen. Which of the following structures produces the fluids that combine with sperm to form semen? A. The seminal vesicles. B. The bulbourethral gland. C. The prostate. D. All of these are correct. The answer is D. All of these are correct. Seminal fluid is formed by several glands. The prostate contributes proteolytic enzymes, citric acid, acid phosphatase, zinc, fibrinolysin, and prostate-specific antigen. The seminal vesicles contribute various flavins, fructose, and amino acids. The bulbourethral glands secrete a mucus that allows the semen to travel rapidly through the urethra, potentially aiding its route toward the cervix. What is the reproductive function of the prostate? A. Production of fructose. B. Lubrication of the urethra. C. Aids in sperm production. D. Alkalinization of the semen. The answer is D. Alkalinization of the semen. The prostate, a fleshy endocrine gland inferior to the outlet of the male bladder, secretes a slightly alkaline milky fluid that makes up 1/3 of the volume of semen. This alkalinity helps neutralize the acid environment of the vagina, increasing the likelihood of conception. Lubrication of the urethra is provided by the bulbourethral gland, while fructose is produced within the seminal vesicles. The prostate does not take part in sperm production. Which of the following cavernous bodies in the penis contains the urethra? A. The corpus cavernosum. B. The corpus spongiosum. C. The epididymis. D. The vas deferens. The answer is B. The corpus spongiosum. The urethra travels through the corpus spongiosum, one of 3 cavernous bodies in the human penis. The other 2 cavernous bodies are a set of sponge-like erectile tissues called the corpus cavernosum. The vas deferens and epididymis are both part of the storage and transportation of semen. The vas deferens joins with the urethra in the penis to facilitate ejaculation. What nerve carries sensory information from the external genitalia? A. The inferior gluteal nerve. B. The pudendal nerve. C. The posterior femoral cutaneous nerve. D. The superior gluteal nerve. The answer is B. The pudendal nerve. The pudendal nerve transmits sensation from the external genitalia, the skin around the anus, and the perineum. It also provides motor function to several important structures in the area, including musculature of the pelvic floor, the external urethral sphincter, and the external anal sphincter. The other nerves listed do not provide any sensory or motor innervation to the genitals. Which of these lists the correct sequence of spermatogenesis? A. Spermatogonia undergo mitosis to become primary spermatids, which undergo meiosis I to become primary spermatocytes, which undergo meiosis II to become secondary spermatocytes, which subdivide to form spermatozoa. B. Spermatogonia undergo mitosis to become primary spermatocytes, which undergo meiosis I to become secondary spermatocytes, which undergo meiosis II to become spermatids, which subdivide to form spermatozoa. C. Spermatogonia undergo meiosis I to become primary spermatocytes, which undergo meiosis II to become secondary spermatocytes, which undergo mitosis to become spermatids, which subdivide to form spermatozoa. D. Spermatids undergo meiosis I to become primary spermatocytes, which undergo meiosis II to become secondary spermatocytes, which undergo mitosis to become spermatogonia, which subdivide to form tertiary spermatocytes. The answer is B. Spermatogonia undergo mitosis to become primary spermatocytes, which undergo meiosis I to become secondary spermatocytes, which undergo meiosis II to become spermatids, which subdivide to form spermatozoa. Sperm development begins with spermatogonia, undifferentiated male germ cell of the seminiferous tubules. During spermatogenesis, these cells first divide via mitosis to form two primary spermatocytes. Those cells then divide meiotically to form two secondary spermatocytes, which then undergo meiosis II to become spermatids. Spermatids then mature further to form spermatozoa via the process of spermiogenesis. Which of the following terms refers the process by which spermatids mature into motile sperm? A. Spermiogenesis. B. Meiosis II. C. Spermatogenesis. D. Meiosis I. The answer is A. Spermiogenesis. The process by which spermatids mature into motile spermatozoa is called spermiogenesis. It is the final stage of spermatogenesis. During spermiogenesis, a polarity develops within the cell, which defines the cell as having a head end and a tail end. An acrosmal cap is formed over the head of the sperm, and a tail is formed via the elongation of a centriole within the cell. What is the name for the cap-like structure that covers the head of mature spermatozoa? A. The acrosome. B. The Golgi cap. C. The zona pellucida. D. The acrogolgi sheath. The answer is A. The acrosome. The cap that forms over the head and anterior tail of the spermatozoa is known as the acrosome. It is derived from the Golgi apparatus, an organelle within the sperm cell. The acrosome prevents premature fertilization of the egg outside of the uterus. Within the uterus there are several proteolytic and glycosidic enzymes that begin to break down the acrosome, rendering it capable of fertilization. When the sperm meets the egg, the acrosome is then able to bind to the egg's zona pellucida, which triggers further breakdown of the acrosome, known as the acrosome reaction. This further breakdown releases enzymes held within the acrosome that allow the sperm to penetrate the zona pellucida, allowing conception to occur. A fetus that is in the head-down position before delivery is said to have which of the following presentations? A. Breech. B. Transverse. C. Cephalic. D. Caudal. The answer is C. Cephalic. A fetus that assumes a head-down position during labor is said to have a cephalic presentation. The infant may still be oriented in a number of directions, such as vertex position, with the occiput anterior and the face and front of the body toward the mother's spine, face presentation with the head tilted back into full neck extension, or occipito-posterior, in which the occiput is against the sacrum. In a transverse presentation, the fetus is sidelong, while a breech presentation the fetus head is superior while the legs are inferior.